Deevs and Davies, welcome back to another week of Talking Trophies, your favorite Melbourne podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We got Damien here. Damien, you're normally meant to jump in after I say favorite Melbourne.
But it is Deevs and Davies. I'm on the other side of the couch.
He's far away.
I don't know how to act. Hey, Deevs and Davies, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Tell your grandma about this episode. It's going to be a good episode. Not literally your grandma, but anyone. It's going to be a good episode. If you're driving, hey, pull over. Pull over. We don't want to see any injuries. And keep commenting. They've been commenting. They've been doing their thing.
Yeah.
And getting more interactive on our social media platforms. Instagram, TikTok. Please.
Create the burner account.
Get the burner.
Yeah.
Deevs, we know you don't want to be seen. You don't want to be known as someone who's a Deev.
Talking Trophies.
I feel like a Deev's one of those secret lives that you live.
I have to start the episode by where was one of the greatest comments I ever received in my life.
Yeah, here we go.
This comment had me smiling ear to ear. Saying, in speaking about me, Raver, you never having a girlfriend is such a green flag. Your outlook on dating is so refreshing. The only man I can listen to without wanting to throw up, for real, from a Deev.
First of all, stuff you, because I talk on this thing as well. And so does Somali Steve. There's two other great men that talk on this pod. But you know what? Hey, I'll give you your flowers.
Thank you so much. That meant a lot to me. You know when we say we don't read the comments, both positive and negative, we actually do. The positives do get to us. The negatives we're numb to.
Deevs, this guy's a good guy. Let him approach your dad. Let him approach your dad. Let him go out for coffee.
Yeah.
Let him shoot the request.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk to you. I don't want to know who you are.
He doesn't know who you are.
Yeah. This week's guest is a special guest. She's done makeup.
Hey.
She's an entrepreneur.
Let's go.
Damn.
She worked straight after having a kid.
Come on.
Let's go.
Straight after having a kid. She's also she had a well-being event last week.
Let's go.
Excellent.
It's Paula. Is it Cortes?
Yeah, Cortes.
Cortes. Paula Cortes. Thanks for jumping on,
Welcome
Paula.
to the pod.
Hey. Thank you so much.
We've officially met our diversity quota of for the year of women on Talking Trophies.
We usually only get one a year.
What?
We're joking.
No, we're joking. We actually don't. Not
Say.
intentionally.
Well, thanks for jumping on. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
So
hey.
excited. So excited.
Bring the mic closer to you. The Deevs and Davies want to hear you.
I feel like there.
Yeah,
good?
it's good. It's good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's
I'm
a
excited. I'm
Yep.
excited. Yeah.
So how did you find Talking Trophies?
Matthias was on it. And
Senpai.
Yeah,
Senpai.
nice.
Yeah.
What a guy.
And
I beat him in table tennis.
do you? Yeah. So we kind of creative realms. I've met him a few times and I really resonate with a lot of like his content, and the guy's just trying to do a lot of different things for the community, and so I really resonate with that.
Yeah.
And then I saw he was on your podcast talking about like the elbow piercing.
Yeah.
That was me. I said the elbow.
Yeah. And I have moments like that too. Like I think last year I got like a derma, like I got a piercing on my chest.
Yeah.
But it was just like one day I was like, I just feel like getting a piercing, and I got it, but it grew out obviously. But yeah, I have moments like that too. So I resonated a lot with what was said of, sometimes we're probably in communities and to feel accepted, you have to do certain things. But I think being of an older age, I kind of think that your art should speak for you. So yeah, I really resonate with what Senpai's been doing.
Yeah,
his clothing is crazy, love it. And
Shout out Senpai, man.
yeah,
Shout out Senpai.
What a guy.
man.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like a little boy at times. I've never had a piercing.
No way. Same here.
Never.
Is it religion like you?
No, I just never got one.
Can Christians get piercings?
Yeah, but I just never gotten one.
You know, you should do get the cross. You know,
The stretcher.
the stretcher cross.
No, get a stretcher. I've never done it. When I was a kid, I wanted a nose ring, but I just never had the courage to do it.
Yeah.
Nose rings hurt.
Yeah, that's why I just
yeah.
buckled. I just never did it. So I was like,
Yeah. I
Well,
know.
you once said that we grow up thinking we know life, we know how life's supposed to be, but life has its own way of doing things. At what moment did you have this realization?
I love how you quote me, and I don't even know where that's from, but I'm going to say that I did say that. I feel like you evolve into the person you were always meant to be. Really, really early on, I started showing like creative skills, but I think in the years that obviously I was growing up, those jobs weren't as available as they are now. So I was that kid that used to paint and try and sell at the front of my house, like little Easter egg baskets that I had painted, and I was always drawing, like when we were at family gatherings, I was always trying to draw people in my family and show them. And but I think I kind of suppressed that. I pushed it down because I kept thinking like it wasn't good enough. I kept thinking that I wasn't going to get a job in it. So it wasn't until I did like, just work experience. I wanted to do photography, but at work experience, I did it at a photography studio. And even the photographers there said to me like, Paula, like you should really get into something else because we get busy only like during weddings and portraits here and there. So this was before internet. And he was like, my daughter's coming. She's a graphic designer. You can sit with her. And it was then that I realized, far out, like this is cool. Like this is drawing, but with technology. And I got to work. I got to work with a lot of different things. And then, and now where I stand now, like I'm in studios now. I work on photo studios. I coordinate for different brands and stuff. And I just think like it's a full circle, like whether you want to or not, you're going to be there. Like you're just going to gravitate to the things that you love. And as you get older, that's what's most important is that you go to a job that you love, you know, because you're there most of the time. So that's what I think I definitely meant by that quote. Yeah, so
obviously being one of the best journalists in the country, I found listening to another podcast you're on. I do my background research before a guest jumps on. That's how I actually found it. You spoke about it.
Yeah.
But now because you do quite a bit of work. And you know what surprised me when you went back to work after having a kid.
Yeah.
Like straight after, and I'm like, okay, she loves the grind.
Yeah.
But in today's age, I'd say it's very unheard of. A lot of people usually like wouldn't take that path.
I think, you're definitely right. It was something that I think every woman is different.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, I was very, so I guess I got to tell you the story, but like my mum lost her dad really young, so at 9. So her mum made her be more like domesticated at home. So to clean, to cook, so when my mum had her kids, being me and my sister, she said, I don't want them to live that life.
Yeah.
I want them to be career driven. I want them to have the jobs that they always wanted. So my mum wouldn't let us clean and cook and iron and all those things. So when I became a mum, I felt like I struggled domestically. I felt like when you become a mum, people just think that you're supposed to know how to do this, like how to breastfeed, when to get up and what the baby noises are, and you really don't. You really don't know those things. And then there's this pressure of, okay, you know, the mum's here, so the baby should be good. And I think at that time, I was like graphic designer, like the lead graphic designer. But while I was on maternity, my boss calls me and he says, I'd love you to come back after maternity and be the design manager. Yeah. So I would have had like 5 designers under me, and that is like the ultimate role you want to achieve, you know? And I just looked at my partner at the time and I was like, it's so hard to say no to this because this is like the ultimate, you know, like this is where you want to be. And he didn't have the best job at the time. And he was like, I'll stay home with our son. And he's a sibling of 9. So he grew up with kids and looking after nephews and nieces. And so he was like, yeah, I'll stay home with our son. And I was like, I tossed and turned about it because, but in some sense I was like, at least I know what I'm doing at my job. And at least, you know, it's fine if I don't know. This is the way I can help. Like he was great domestically. I'd get home, he had dinner, our laundry done. Sorry, I'm getting really hot.
No, you're good. Yeah,
Fine. Just a lot of he had a lot of the household things done. And so when I would come home, it did feel like I was the man, because
you said you mentioned you'd come home from work and he'd be like, you don't pay enough attention to me or something like that.
He did, he did.
So it's not like just, it's an emotion that both will experience, right? So
of course,
I'd
come home, I was mentally tired too, I'd come home from I'd start work at 7:30, finish at 8. I had crazy deadlines as well. Yeah. And then you come home to your partner who hasn't spoken to anybody but the child all day. He's searching for this conversation of how was your day? How was baby? And I couldn't give it every day, And that's what makes it hard too, is I think when people are talking about having children, they don't understand how much actually does change. Your relationship changes. If your man is used to being the number one priority in your life, once you have a child, that baby becomes priority. And then he might feel left aside, but he has to know that your woman, your wife, is doing the best she can, but there's a lot of things that happen there. You are so tired to communicate. You're so tired to give each other that time because, your whole world's turned upside down, the female's trying to understand what it's like to be a mum and gravitate that. And she can't talk to her partner because her partner doesn't know what the woman's body's doing, how you're feeling. I experienced 2 different births with my kids. One, I was able to bottle feed. So being on formula fed is also it makes you feel less of a woman, because you're not able to take care or nourish the child. And so that for me, considering he was my first, I was like, man, I can't even do that. But with my second, I was able to breastfeed, so I enjoyed a different bond with her. But that meant that I was feeding her there's a lot of people that say you're like a cow. You're just walking, your little calf's next to you and she's just suckling on you. That's literally what it was like all day. I'd be there. My daughter wanted to feed. So I couldn't do much. But having the job, I did feel like at that time I was helping our unit. And I went back to work. I think I wouldn't have gone back to work if it didn't work with my partner. If my partner had said, hun, it's not going to work. It's feeling a little bit off for me. I'm not comfortable with it. Then I would have been like, cool. But because I had that support at home, I took it on. And I did it for, I think, another 2 years. I even traveled. So I was able to travel and we used to sell to Big W and Target and stuff like that, designs. So I got to travel, but it did hurt because I'd get videos of my son's first steps. Walking and I wasn't there,
Yeah, that's rough.
And so when I was having my daughter, I was like, nah, I want to be present for that.
So you got, in a way, the experience of being both the provider, the father and the mother. A sort of experience, in a way, right?
Yeah.
The breadwinner side.
And I will always say, there are men that can stay home and they do an amazing job. And I, as much as I'm not with my kid's dad anymore, I won't deny him that. He was a great dad. He, would get up and bottle feed. He'd do night shifts sometimes. He'd say to me, hun, you sleep and then I'll do bottles until midnight, 1 a.m. And then from there you take over. So just so I could sleep, and I'd make sure that I'd come home and I would bath my son at least, have that one-on-one time with him. But he had dinner ready and everything. And so when the roles reversed, that's kind of where it got hard because I couldn't. He'd come home and be like, but why haven't you done this and why isn't that done and why isn't that done? And so because I had done 3 out of the 5 things, I hadn't completed my tasks. So that's where the issues started to come in of, I've got 2 kids now. I don't just have 1. And it just becomes this whole thing of finding it hard to communicate, So I think it's hard. Like if we think about, you guys were saying how you want to be parents like at 30 or.
Damien said that.
Yeah, Ravo's rate is going to be 50 by the time he has a kid.
Hey, at least I'll be mature.
Yeah.
So it's really
Eating food
hard.
or-
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people. I've probably witnessed one dad where I'm like, man, he is a dad. Like,
Yeah, well.
he gets up, he irons his kids' clothes, he goes to work, and I feel like back in the day it was just like, I just got to go to work and that's how I provide, but like that's not enough now, that's not enough. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with
Like,
that.
like us three, we're young guys, we aspire obviously like parenthood one day and all that.
Yeah.
What's like one piece of advice you give to us? If you were to go like, you know what, as young men, this is what I have to offer. And it's even like Deevs and Davies, like, a lot of them are probably in our boat as well. Young Deevs and Davies, like what would be one thing, maybe like even reflecting on your life, like what's one thing maybe like either worked really well or what's one thing that like you're like, yo, I wish I just locked in on this a bit more?
There's two things that I would say. I think as a man, like I feel like sometimes it's really hard to do the work, and that's inner work. That's like, what's wrong? Why, if I have anger issues, if I get upset really easy, if I have this, like where does those things stem from?
Regulating emotions.
Yeah, I feel like that's really important because if you're not at peace with yourself, you bring that into the relationship.
Yeah.
And then you don't know how to deal with those things when they flare up in the relationship.
Yeah.
But I think like the other thing is, are you ready to be selfless? I think would be the biggest one, because are you ready to give up whatever it is that your life is up until that point? Are you ready to sacrifice it for your child?
Yeah.
That's what I would say, because I feel like no one's ready for the moment your whole world has to change. The woman does, because the minute the woman gets pregnant, she has to eat differently. She has to make sure she's not active or going to the gym as crazy as what she was doing. Straight away, our mind just starts thinking about this child, and we don't even worry about us. We're just like, are we eating well? Do I have this? Are my vitamins good? Am I that? We start reading what's supposed to happen each month. If in those months those things don't happen, we're like, okay, we need to go doctors. We need to do this. They check your body. They don't do much with the man. Yeah. And I would say like when I had my son, I was dealing with a lot of depression throughout my life and anxiety. So one of the biggest fears that I had was like I was going to die when I had a baby. Wow. From all those old movies, there's always like a woman that dies from giving birth. Yeah. So I always thought that, and I was like, okay, what can I do? And there was like this hypnotherapy kind of thing. So they do a class where they take you and they give each person that's in the room a role. So they'll say, okay, your mum, if your mum's in the room, she's the person that talks to the doctor. She's the one that gives the doctor your birthing plan and everything. Your partner, he's your gorilla. So he's the guy that comes over and he gives you your space. He creates the space for you, lets you do what you need to do. Because what happens is a lot of people go into these rooms and they stress. They don't know what the hell they're supposed to be doing. So it was really good. It gave everybody a role, but also it taught me how to listen to my body. So I ended up having a water birth with my son, and the water birth actually helps because it encourages you not to ask for drugs. So I had no painkillers. I had a natural birth with my son, with both of them, in water. Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard someone actually do that.
Yeah, so they
How
fill
was
up.
that experience?
They fill up like a tub,
Yep.
and they dim the lights. It's like as if you're going to like a spa bath situation.
Where would you do that? Like
In the hospital, they have them in.
No, you do it at the beach, bro. What do you want
no, like I thought there was like a center, like
Yeah, you go to local, the leisure centre, bro.
No, yeah. So there's
We're
like,
actually cutting off half the pool. The lane 1 and 2 today is closed off. We're having water births going on today, guys.
I'm glad I'm teaching you things today.
Yeah, no, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah,
I'm learning a lot.
but Yeah, so that's why it's important to ask for a birthing plan, because for women, if you think about when you go toilet, guys, we sit like this, right? Because it's gravity, it's what helps us to push. And so when they ask you as a woman, you're going to give birth with your leg, with your back, or, you know, lying down with your legs this far open, it's so unnatural, you know, it's so unnatural, and it causes a lot of like back pain. So during that time I was trying to read, and they're like, water is like, it helps you because you can be like on your fours or back or whatever, but the water, it just makes you feel like you're floating all the time. So it's a relaxing thing. And it says it helps with like your contractions. So your contractions, they say, comes as waves. So it's a big wave, and then it goes back, and then it's another wave, and then they get shorter and shorter as the baby gets closer. But that's why they were saying water's great, because you listen to waves. You've got this soothing music going on in the background. And I could hear the other women in the other rooms, and you can hear like the screams that they were having was more like, it's a scream of like, I'm freaking scared. I don't know what I'm doing here. Whereas in mine, we're more like, oh, like it just hurt, you know, it was a pain. But I understood what my body was doing. And during that time, my partner was holding me in the water. And so it felt like more of a bond together, you know, and no one can see what's happening down there. So it makes it more like a moment. So I was able to hold my son in the water, and he came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask the dumbest question, yeah?
That's okay.
But it came to mind. Wouldn't the baby drown?
No. So when they're in your tummy, the sac that they're in the tummy is full of liquid. So that's how they breathe. Yeah. So when they come out, it's like they break. That's why it's a break of the waters. You know, when somebody's about to have a baby and the water breaks.
Gills, bro.
It's aerial.
Guys, I can't
They come out with gills, bro. And then they swim in the ocean, bro. Like I said, bro.
Yeah. So it was.
Hey, I don't know, because I know one of the Deevs or Davies listening is thinking that too.
Yeah.
And they're like, come on, if it came to my mind.
No, I honestly, like, there's a lot of questions that I had during that time. Like, you know, when they said to me, try a water birth, and I was like, fuck. My daughter, I literally went to, when I was to have my daughter, I started with contractions at home. And by the time I got to the hospital, they checked me and they were like, nah, come back tomorrow. It's fine. You're not going into labor. But I knew my body was in labor. Yeah. Wow. But they were like, go home. And I was like, nah. They forgot me. They left me in a room. In half an hour, I was ready. Like, I had gone from like having my contractions every 10 minutes to every 1 minute. Oh, wow. So in half an hour, so I was like ready. By the time they had got in the room, all I did was stand or sit in the tub and just wet myself with the water, because they hadn't even given enough time to like fill it, that I felt her coming out already. So I was just kind of like wetting myself, wetting my body, just, and I didn't even think about it. I was like, she's coming and she's coming now. And yeah. So whether you're ready for it or not, I think it's just being, as a woman, just trying to do as much research as you can beforehand and stay away from like anything from like hospitals to watch before it, because it will just scare them. Like it's better, there's power in knowledge rather than watching things that you're going to get scared of, you know?
Yeah.
Water births, boys. That's what we're doing.
Water births.
Get on it.
Water births.
Deevs and Daves, get on the water births, man. Get in that tub.
You know what? Can I just say,
You haven't had this topic.
You know, in all the 5 years we've been doing this, 5 years.
And I think this was a great time to have it, because one thing, if you're a day one Deevs or Davey, the maturity level we've gone from.
Bro, our first ever video was ranking our top 3 guests on the pod. And it went from like Dwayne Wade to...
I can't remember. But like the fact that like we're able to have a mature conversation to an extent, but... Great progress for us. But like, no, this is really insightful. Like, this is not like, for example, the one thing you said is like, never came to my mind was that the woman, as soon as she gets pregnant, is already preparing. The guy doesn't.
No,
he doesn't prepare to become a father until like, oh, I'm actually holding the baby.
Because our changes are more just mental, going like, oh, I got to prepare for this thing mentally, but you're actually feeling the whole thing.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I think because we physically feel it as well, like as our belly gets bigger, we already like, okay, we're going to be a mum. But you become a dad when you hold it. So that's 9 months later. So that's your moment where you hold the baby and you're like, and then you have your moments. And I'll say, like, my ex-partner, he had a moment where he left us for like a week because he needed to breathe. Like he was like, I don't know about this. I don't, like, that is your moment where it all hits and you're just like, am I fit? Am I ready? Can I be letting this go? Because to be honest, when I was thinking about having kids, I was like, I love this person. I love who I'm with.
Yeah.
I'm in a beautiful situation right now. Like it's good timing, but you really don't realize how much of it changes your life, you know, and it's sometimes for the best, because I'd say like my life beforehand, I was always late. I was very like whatever, you know, but now I kind of stepped it up after having kids, and that's natural, you know, but I think it's not spoken about enough, you know. And I'll say that also women have those moments too, where they come home with their baby, they're not feeling like themselves, and they're just like, I'm not fit to be a mum. Pack their things in a suitcase and they'll leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it postpartum?
Yeah, postpartum depression as well. Yeah. And again, I'd say that there wasn't enough spoken about back then that would happen to women. And it's just because our hormones are all over the place, you know? So...
And would you say, do you ever truly adjust? Or is it like something that, I don't know, maybe the voice just gets smaller? Like that feeling of not being fit enough to be a parent, or the insecurities that come with it, or the fear, the stress, all those things. Like, do they ever truly go? Or would you say this is just something that the voice just gets quieter?
I'd say, you know, I still have a lot of moments with my kids for sure where I'm like, am I doing the right thing right now?
Yeah.
And I think I would say you get to a stage where you let go of your old life. But there is a moment where you do that. And I think it's, you know, I think for me it was Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, and I was washing all my son's bottles at like midnight because I forgot to do it during the day, or I was too tired or something, and I was washing all his bottles, and you have to like desanitize it and put it in this machine and stuff. And I was like, this is my life now. This is what you wanted, Paula. You wanted a child. You're a mum. This is your life. And so I think everybody has those moments, but for the first couple of moments, you're just trying to chase whatever made sense before, which was going back to work, hanging out with your girls. And, you know, some of your girls don't have kids. So they'll be like, come out clubbing and blah, blah, blah. But like, you can't anymore, you know. So I remember even like I'd be with my son and all my friends were drinking or smoking, and I just didn't want to be in there because I can't. Like my son, I don't want him to smell like cigarette, you know.
Do you feel like you were outgrowing your friends in that moment? I wouldn't even say outgrowing, because outgrowing is like getting better.
I
but
think
like
you'd adapt to
you're adapting. Yeah, you're adapting to your new
Yeah.
lifestyle in a way, right? So like...
And it does happen, like without you even realizing, you start going like, I can't hang out with those people anymore. And you kind of like, I don't know, you kind of do drift a little bit because you need to find things that accommodate your life, you know, and having friends that have kids that get it makes your life easier, you know. And
how would you deal with the FOMO? Like, yeah, deep down, you'd be like, yo, I really want to hang out with the girls tonight. Got this kid here crying my ear off.
Yeah.
You know, like, how do you navigate that?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people don't speak about that at all.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things that I missed wasn't so much the going out, was the quiet times. Like to go for a drive, or to even go and get my nails done without feeling guilty. It was little things of like going for a coffee by myself, and, you know, things like that is what I really missed. I couldn't do those things anymore. Like if I went to High Point, I'd have to do a nappy change, get my son good, and then be able to shop. And then by the time I've sat down, he's crying, he wants to be fed. So it was a lot of like not having the quiet time.
Yeah.
But I think I didn't miss the clubbing or the FOMO with my friends as much because I knew I was ready to be a mum. So I knew that I would be letting go of a few things. But definitely one of the biggest things that I continue to see with a lot of my friends as well is they try and chase the life that they had before. And the sooner you realize that you can't go back to what you used to do, the better it is for you, you know? Yeah. Like you kind of have to
Adapt or die.
Adapt, adapt to what you have.
I feel like a lot of guys really wrestle with that because you see, like, there's a lot of guys that I know that they become dads and they get on a solid path for a couple years, but then they hit a point where they're just like they just want to not act young again, but live the way they used to so heavily that it almost it almost borderlines like breaks their family to some extent.
Of course.
Yeah,
I do see that too, and I think it's just again, it's about asking yourself as a man, am I ready? You know, because love is great. Love, you can love a person so much, but at the end of the day, that's not actually enough. You know, in a relationship, when you have kids, when you have a mortgage, when, you know, one of you guys is working and the other one's not. Like, there's a lot of things that go behind the scenes that you haven't actually discussed yet, you know. And I think that's one of the things that really hit me too, because I was living in this la la land of like, I love my person. Like I said, I'm in a good place. Let's just have a baby, you know. But yeah, and I don't regret it. I think and both my babies are rainbow babies, so that means like yes.
Don't look at me, kids. And before we get push the mic closer, push that mic closer. No, don't look at me. Bring the mic closer a little bit because So a thought came in my head.
That's okay.
But I already saw Damien smiling. The thought came to my head.
He blames you straight away.
I smiled because I saw you smile.
No. So what happened was the thought that came into my head was I was going to say yes.
Yeah.
But then he started smiling. So tell us what rainbow babies are.
So rainbow babies is you miscarry before you have a child. And so it's the rainbow after the storm. So a lot of people will say my child's a rainbow baby. So yeah, I miscarried before I had my child, and then I miscarried before I had my daughter as well.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, and I think again, a lot of women will miscarriage because their body's getting used to carrying. You know, it's preparing you to carry. So yeah.
Sorry for that.
That's okay.
Experience, but I want to touch on one question on that.
Yeah.
Is it true that women, when they do have a miscarriage, they do experience postpartum depression as well, as if like their body reacts depending on how long they've carried the baby, as if they've delivered the baby, right?
Yeah, I would say yes. I didn't because I didn't carry mine for very long. But I do have friends that have gone through a full birth and having to still birth the child even though the child's not living. And again, I just think that these things aren't really spoken about. But yeah, they do go through the same things. I have a good friend of mine as well who miscarried last year. I think she was about 3-4 months in. And yeah, she's, you know, you go through like sadness and all that, the grieving and what could have been. And yeah, but she's now fallen pregnant again. And I think it's really hard because I have friends as well that can't get pregnant and they just try and they've paid for IVF and all these things and they still can't. And so it's really hard, you know, and I think that's when faith comes into it, where you've got to have like strong faith to understand that things happen for reasons. And yeah,
I think it's a tough struggle.
Are you a religious or spiritual person?
I'm both. Yeah, I'm both. I understand that a lot of things.
You love stars and Jesus?
I do. Yeah.
That's a good one. I thought of that one on the spot. That's a crazy one. You love stars and Jesus?
Yeah. I'm going to do you a t-shirt with that on.
Yeah, stars and Jesus.
I do. I feel like there's a lot of spiritual things that happen to me with like signs and stuff. I've had butterflies come and visit me through my home, or I find them in different places in my home. And as I've gotten older, I've understood more of like a spiritual side. But I'd say faith is it's a very personal journey. I think as much as I grew up in a Catholic school, Catholic parents, the way people talk to you about God or Jesus and things, it's kind of like their side of it. It's not until something happens in your life where you just feel so low that you believe, or that sparks the faith, you know. For me personally, it was when my mum went through breast cancer. My mum is somebody who, man, I never saw her drink. I never saw her smoke. I never saw her do anything bad, you know. Best human. And so for me, when I was still in high school, she got breast cancer. I just hated my faith. I really questioned it a lot, and I was just like, how does this happen to beautiful people, and why do beautiful people get taken? And I just got really scared, you know, of not, and I saw how it affected my dad. So it was a lot of things like that where I was just kind of like, you know, lost. We didn't know what my mum's circumstance was going to be like after her chemo and everything, but she's done well. Like she recovered.
Oh, thank God, that's good. That's nice. She beat the big C.
She recovered, and I think at that time I just thought, you know, that's a miracle for me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where my faith started to grow more. My kids, they don't go to like a Catholic school, but we pray every night. I get them to, you know, understand what holidays are about. I think it's really important to have faith, because I don't really mind who they decide to go and follow, but at the end of the day, I think there's just so many things that happen in our world that are unexplainable, you know, and you just have to be like, just trust, you know, and just have faith. And then, yeah, for me, my kids, I needed them to have that, you know, I needed them to believe in that.
That's that South American genes kicking in.
Yeah.
I know you Latinas walk around with the prayer beads on the low.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
We've done 40 minutes of the pod.
Oh, really?
We haven't even asked the question yet.
Sorry.
I was going to say, Paula, you're a very confident woman. Is this something you developed over time? Because you mentioned before that you do experience forms of depression and anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
So where do you get your confidence from?
I would say it's happened definitely over time. I was a very shy kid. I got bullied in high school. You'd say like ugly duckling didn't blossom until like 18, 19. So I was very quiet. But when I started doing a lot of more of my creative projects, I started realizing like if I don't stand up for my work, I'm just going to have other people speak for me. And I think on social media we can kind of show a type of world, but I don't want to just lean on that. I do podcasts and interviews and stuff like that because I want people to see like this is the connection part. This is where like you get to know me as a person rather than what you see on socials. But the confidence definitely has come through from a lot of my experiences. I've lost a lot of my life. I've had to regain a lot. I've had to fight for a lot. So I feel like nobody can take that from me now. And yeah, I speak what I want to talk about. And yeah, but it definitely comes with time, you know? Yeah, like I'm 41 now. There's no way I would have...
41 years young?
Yeah. There's no way I would have been this confident back then, but I'm very sure in where I stand, how I am, what I do with my jobs, the type of person I am. Like this person, you get this person when I'm in a different setting all the time. If I know you, don't know you, this is who I am. I don't change. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy because I'd say you carry quite a unique gift in the sense of like you were able to get 3 guys that probably banter arguably in every podcast, everything we do, but to lock in on a conversation that we probably never actually openly had before and take it seriously. So like I think you have an ability to articulate your experiences well and you can really see it. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we were talking about storytelling before.
Do you consider yourself a creative person?
I do. Yeah, definitely now more than ever. I literally saw this reel the other day. It was like Lionel Richie, and he was talking about how not to mold your kids into being academic. You can be academic, but there's also creative kids. I think we have to the creative kid can't be the academic kid, and the academic kid can't be the creative one. So I think for a really long time, I was just trying to fight the creative person in me. But I've done everything. I'd say like I had a party business. I used to make wedding cakes. I used to make like business cards, any stationery. And yeah, I've always been creative. Now the kind of jobs that I get is just like, Paula, you reckon we could do this? Yeah, let's go. Like I just make
They
it.
didn't even explain.
I
You
just
said direct
I
to
just
that.
make it happen somehow, or like figure it out somehow, and yeah, definitely that. I would say that's definitely on the creative realm. Yeah.
So how that lapse with content? How did that lapse into content creating? Damien's dying with hay fever.
Yeah.
I will continue.
With content, again, yeah, it's kind of hard with content because I feel like everybody does content differently. For me, I grew up in a time where, like, for me, when I see art or photos or think like I want an emotional reaction. So anything that people put out of content that gives me an emotional reaction, like either that's like, oh my God, that's sick, or a surprise, or man, that really hit home for me, that's good content, you know. But I feel like nowadays a lot of people are trying to be something they're not for content, you know, where they promote things they don't believe in, they are fully filtered on some things and it's not them really. And I think I wanted to start showing more of my content of everything that I do. A lot of the time I am behind the scenes on so many of my projects, so I get access to a lot of backstage things too, so I try and bring people with me to those things. But I learned all that by myself, like Canva, CapCut, all those things. I just sat one day in the car and I was just like, okay, I got to do this because my videographer's not picking up and I've got to figure it out. And yeah, and that's how I learned. So, and now I try and teach other people that are trying to try and bring up a business, or just to understand what the importance of content is, you know, because if you don't do content, you're never going to be seen. You know, you're not on socials. See you later. It's not happening. So I think a lot of the older gen just doesn't do content, you know. So yeah, with times are changing, I had to start learning how to do that. Yeah.
You seem to do a lot.
Yeah.
You do a lot.
I do.
Not even seem. You do a lot. Do you find it hard to ask for help?
Yeah, I definitely do. I struggle with that a lot. That's kind of like one of the biggest things that I was thinking about yesterday, actually. I think being a single mum, I don't like asking for help. But I know that there's a lot of people in the creative community that I can ask for help because they feel like they've asked me for help and we've kind of helped each other in that sense. But I would say I find it hard because I think there's this expectation on myself. I do that to me. Like, I'm like, you're gonna kill this job, you're gonna do it, you're gonna kill it today. And so I want to try and do everything, you know. It's a challenge on my side, I think. Like, I like the challenge. But I definitely am not a person that asks for help. Yeah. I would say that's also like the Latina woman. Like, she's not that. She's not that type. Like, my mom literally does it all, you know, and I think that's how I am built as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time a Latina doesn't act independent is when she's setting you up for a drug bust. That's a bar. That's a bar.
Where'd you find that from?
You know, like you hear about it. You're a tourist. They'll be like, oh, some girl, she acted like she needed help, and like she led him to like they get robbed by like 3 guys around the corner or something like that.
Oh, gosh.
You ever seen this? You ever heard this story?
Random sidebar.
Guys, I don't know what happened when you went to the toilet. You mentioned being a single mother. Do you think single mothers are misunderstood, especially in the modern day?
I was like, this question's going to get me so much trouble. Yeah, I feel like it's not spoken about enough. And I say that, but also co-parenting. Oof, that is the most hardest thing that you could go through. I think nothing prepares you for it. Like, think about when you date someone and you don't have kids. You guys break up, you never have to see that person again, you know? But when you've had a relationship and you've got kids, and that person still comes to your house to pick them up if they want. But, you know, it's really, really hard as a single. I've got a single mum best friend who the dad left, doesn't want anything to do with the children. And in some sense, I kind of look at that and go, that must be easier because you're not expecting somebody to help you and then not help you. to show up and then not show up. You know, she doesn't have that expectation. I feel like with single mums, and this is something that may or may not be true, but I heard this thing today where there's single mums in relationships. So meaning like they're in a relationship, yet they do everything, you know? So they're already doing the single mum jobs. You know, they go to work, they come home, they look after the kids, they put them to bed, they, you know, and I feel like it wasn't much of a transition when I became a single mum because I was already doing all that, you know? The extras are now that, you know, I have to have these conversations about financials, like where's the payment gone? Why hasn't this been done? And so like it gets exhausting, you know, you're kind of having to deal with somebody that you cared a lot for, and then it just became, if the relationship ended up toxic, then it will roll into a toxic co-parenting kind of way of being, you know. I feel like there's not enough, I'd say there is help from the government here and there, but I think there's not enough like conversations about how to deal with co-parenting, what are the steps. I've done a lot of what the government's been able to offer, which is like mediation and things. They don't help. You know, it's kind of like an elephant's in the room and you're trying to talk with your ex-partner and that person's not allowed to say they're right, you're not right, they have to do this, you have to do that. So it's really just making it look like on paper that you've done something that the government's giving, but it hasn't really given any help at all.
I think that's the problem in life, right? I think from school to adulting, you get told how to make money, you get told how to get education, you get told how to have like basic morality and how do you respect someone, probably in a classroom setting, but no one actually teaches you how to regulate, you know, the things you witness growing up. No one teaches you how to regulate, this person's really annoying me, but I have like an intimate connection with them. And now there's a kid, how do you deal with that? Or any of those things. And so it's just like, I think like a lot of guys, I had this conversation with someone the other day. It was just like a lot of guys, their mind and their words will communicate that they're mature, but their emotions are one of like a little boy. Yeah. And you know, like even me, I look back on my life, there's so many moments I can articulate like, man, that part, I just didn't deal with my stuff. And that's why that relationship messed up or this situation happened. Yeah. But I think like there's not enough support. Now we've got online resource, but there's not enough like mandatory support on like how do you actually get emotionally healthy as a person? How do you just be a respectful human being through crisis?
But at the same time, I feel like that's not instilled in us. Like that wasn't instilled in me to talk about my feelings. Like something traumatic happened in my life. It was like, okay, cool. Nah, she's fine now. She doesn't cry about it. Yeah. But you don't realize that traumatic experience molds you years later and it comes to bite you years later, you know? Yeah. And I think with guys, it's more because you're not allowed to be emotional. You're not allowed to. That's why I run these like wellness things now, whether they're spiritual or of faith, because it's allowing you to have that space. Like I've created this space here for you to have a quiet moment with yourself, to ask yourself, to allow yourself to ask yourself what's important in my life, because we don't do it. We're like, we run from 9 to 5 doing these jobs, going to the gym, doing this, but do you ever ask yourself, am I actually happy today? Did I actually enjoy my day today? Am I happy with the circle of friends I have? Am I happy with my finances? Am I happy with my job? We don't. We just end up doing this like the mouse wheel, you know?
I got pushback on that, but do you think happiness is subjective? And the thing is, the idea of this pursuit of happiness, you're never going to be happy. Yeah. Truly. I think this idea, that we need to be happy all the time. I think I can be content today. Yeah, yeah. I can be happy like one day when I'm spending good time with my family or my significant other, or I'm hanging out with some of my good friends. We've hanged out for like, we've caught up in the first time in like 3 months. That's happiness. That's a happy moment. Yeah. But I'm all right being content from Monday to Friday at work, you know? Yeah. Or maybe I'm content, I'm happy going to play sports on the weekend. I think this idea that like there's this pursuit of happiness,
but I think because
we're so phased by, I think
the issue is that people tie happiness to comfort, right? So a guy will go, man, if I just get this job, life will be set. Then he gets the job and 10 years go down the track and he's like,
What the hell? Yeah.
So I hate life right now.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. I'm not content. I thought this was the goal, and it's because like people don't realize like you'll never actually achieve comfort. Like life throws curveballs every day, whether it's someone getting sick, to like a breakup, to whatever it is. You can't control it, and so I think it's like we tie happiness to like, oh man, just if I get this, then everything will be all goods. But you get there, and it's like actually no, it's not all goods. So I think it's just our idea, our worldview of what happiness really is needs to change and shift.
I also think we don't value the little things. You know, social media makes us have our, be the first or be like a day ahead of things, and we're not living in the present. We don't look around and go, fuck, today I actually paid my rent. I got a house that I'm able to give to my kids, and my kids have a warm bed, and there's many places that don't have that, and I think as much as happiness is important, I think being at peace is important, to be at peace with your decisions, where you are, what kind of person you are, and things like that. Those things are very much as valuable as trying to be happy, They tie, together.
Another pushback I got was the emotional thing with the guys as well. I don't think guys can really articulate. I've learned this about myself. I don't think I can articulate my feelings.
Yeah.
Or my emotions. Let's just say if I've seen some traumatic stuff in my life.
Yeah.
I've seen some stuff that you shouldn't be seeing in a first world country.
100.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I move on.
Sure.
Like I don't sit back and like this trauma stays with me or whatever. I just move on and like I'll do activities or whatever. And the emotion just goes away. I think like I always heal with time.
Sure.
I'm not someone that's just like stuck in like a time loop. Like time moves on. It's like life moves on. That's for me. Sometimes guys don't really. Do you think guys always have to speak about their emotions? Like maybe I could just go for a run.
I feel like
You're just on the spectrum, bro.
I know.
I feel like everybody's wired differently. I have a close friend who didn't have his mum growing up, so that affects him trying to date and trying to be with women. Like he doesn't trust women. He doesn't. So it's how whatever you've gone through traumatically, or I guess at the time he didn't see it as a trauma, right? Because he just thinks this is my normal life. I have my dad here. I have my brothers here. We have good times and da-da-da. It's not until he gets older that then they realize. So I think it's about feeling stuck, It's about getting to a certain stage in your life where you're like, far out, why am I not happy? Or why am I not finding love? Or why when I am in a relationship can I not communicate properly, So something where you're like, I don't feel like I can have those conversations. What happens if you date somebody and that person's all about feelings? Like wants you to, I want you to tell me how you feel. If I made you angry, I want you to tell me, and you're like, nah, I'll just go for a run and I'll feel better. You might be that person. That's that's literally what I'm saying.
Absent husband.
You might be that person, but what she needs you to say is, hun, your love language is communicating, and you want to have these you want to communicate with me, but I don't do it that way. So if you want, we can go for a walk together. And as we walk, I'll say, today it pissed me off when you did this, or I felt like this. So it's kind of like finding the compromise, together, of meeting each other halfway when dealing with those things. So what I'm trying to say is that that's when your trauma might become an issue,
Or you say, honey, I'm going for a run. Dinner better be sorted.
There's no dinner and there's no person when you get home.
Would you say, all jokes aside, would you say like either parenting or being in a relationship, are they the things that probably brought out the most of the undealt with stuff you had growing up? Because I'd say probably like we might be able to look at our life and be like, oh, I think I'm doing all right emotionally, but it's probably not until we hit that milestone we go, oh crap, I haven't dealt with my trauma.
I think a lot of my thinking time, because this is the longest I've been single. I've been single 4 years. So when I was 18,
Deevs and Davies lock in.
When I was 18, I got into an 8-year relationship. I was in an 8-year relationship. I had a 4-month break, and I went into another 8-year relationship, which is the father of my children. So I've been in loyal relationships this whole time. So I would say that during my last relationship with the father of my children, yeah, I wasn't perfect, but I was the person that I saw my parents be. So if my parents spoke to each other a certain way, that I now realize that I was that person in that relationship. Now that I've had like these 4 years, and I tell you, like, breaking up with somebody after an 8-year relationship is like saying goodbye to somebody. It's like somebody passed away. You know how you go through the grieving phase and then you go through the missing them phase, and then that's literally how my years went. So my first year was like, okay, like I was angry. I was like, we broke up and I'm not happy, and I did a lot of crazy things in that first year. I'm not even going to get into it.
Can I just, I'm going to say a stereotype. I'm going to say, did you go into the crazy Latina girl?
I did.
Okay, sorry.
So you can just imagine I've been relationship the whole time, right? So that year I did go nuts. And then I just started, at the end of that year, I kind of had a moment, and I was just like, we always go to the beach at the end of every year. We go camping. And I've been doing that since I was 12. So every time we go there, it's like a pivotal moment it's like you look back at the year. And I remember I was at the beach and I just kind of stood there and I was like, you're living a life of no purpose, Paula. Like, your life has given you a different road now. You're now a single mum, but what are you actually doing with it? You know? So then I started looking into going back to my creativity. And that's when up until then, I felt like my heart was stone. I didn't love anything. Nothing made sense. Nothing felt right. And then I got invited to a photo shoot. And I used to do makeup for a lot of these photo shoots. And he's like, I know you haven't done it in 4 years, but come, you might like it. And it was like a fairy theme. And I end up going there and I do it. And I just saw all these photographers, like there was probably like 20 photographers taking photos of my model. And I was like, man, this is what I missed. Like I started feeling like my heart was starting to get in color again, you know, like this spread. And I was like, I wanted more of it. And so I started diving into more of my creative things and going back to it. And I fell in love with this new life that I was getting. But it is about trying to understand why you've been given this new route in life. And I live more of purpose now. So I don't do those things. I don't date for fun. I don't date for fun. I date for purpose. I tried to date and then I realized that I wasn't ready because I was doing a lot of the work. But I would say my breakup was what started to push me into understanding my cycles, you know, like the way I communicate. Am I ready to receive the next person in my life? Am I a good person to be in a relationship with? Or am I going to be bringing things that I had in my past relationship to this one? Especially when there was like trust issues and things like that. I can't get into a relationship now and start blaming that person for things that this person did. Like that's not their fault, you know? So I wanted to be ready. I still don't feel like I'm there. I still don't feel like that's who I am at this point in time.
Wait. Can I ask a question?
Here we go.
Can I ask about the KFC story? Can I ask about the KFC story?
You said you did your research.
But before that, can we do a live check on Somali Steve? Are you still alive?
I'm functioning.
I actually think Somali Steve's a Davey right now. A Davey right now. For this episode.
We're going to get you to fact check something soon. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We'll get you to fact check something soon. Tell us the KFC story.
Yeah,
please.
So I was with my ex for 8 years, and then during that crazy year, a lot of people, I've come into this world of dating apps. And everybody was like, you know, jump on them, blah, blah. I didn't know the difference between what Tinder was, what Hinge was, what Bumble was. Didn't know what they all were. But my first date, I got catfished. I ended up going to meet this person at a bar. Not at a bar, but like it was a daytime bar. And he's like, I'm texting me and he's like, I'm running 30 minutes late. And I was like, that's cool. I'm sitting outside. I'm having a drink. And he's like, cool, I'll show up. And literally the guy sits in front of me and he's like, oh, sorry, I'm late. And I look at him and I'm like, I actually thought the person got the wrong table. Like it was to that point where I was like, I have no idea who this person was. And it made me so upset that I was like, I'm going to make up a story and say like, oh, sorry, you were late. So I've got 20 minutes only and I've got to go back to my kids. And he was nice. He was like, I'll walk you to your car. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
How
Thank
did he
you.
catfish you? I don't get it.
Because he didn't look so.
Did he put up fake photos or a filter?
I know, but like, was it to that extent? Like,
it was to that extent.
Was
like
it a different person?
Totally different person.
Wow.
Totally different person.
Somali Steve.
And then I thought, far out, I'll give it one more go. Yeah. And I was like, surely they can't all be like this. And I end up going and meeting somebody at a park. We were going to have a picnic. And he's like, let's get KFC. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm old school. Like, we can go for a long drive and listen to R&B. I'm happy. Like, you don't have to wine and dine me. I'm good. Like, conversation for me is quality, you know? So he's like, let's get KFC, da-da-da. Anyway, we're sitting down and he starts eating, like, the bones and I hear him, like, I hear him doing these ones and I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, just like, I think I might have had a burger, so mine didn't have bone in it. But he's like, and I'm like, are you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm all right. And then I see him like biting his nail and he bites his nail off and he uses his nail to get the bits out of chicken out of his tooth. And at that moment, I thought, thank you, Lord. I am off the dating apps, never getting on them again. This is disgusting.
Yeah, that is what. But did he look like his photos?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
He was chewing the bones, did you
But
say?
I was like, I just got...
Brother, not chewing the bones, bro. You missed the part.
He got
his
like...
nail, bro.
Yeah, I saw that part too. But
Yeah.
he was chewing bones as well, yeah?
Yeah. He was going to town on the bones. Yeah, he was eating it. So, and then after that, I won't say I've had bad dates, but they have been characters, you know?
Yeah.
And then the more I talk about it with certain friends, it's, there's also, I don't know if I should say it on here, but I might get in trouble. But there is like Facebook pages where it's like, it says, sis, is this your man? So like, yeah, there's Facebook pages where if you're seeing somebody from any of the dating apps, you can put their photo up on it and say, is anybody talking to this guy? And there's a dude that always shows up on this app. Like no matter how many years have gone past and if I reload it, he's still there. And man, the comments that come out, there's like 60 comments of different women going, yeah, I know that guy. That guy has different cars at his house. At da-da-da-da.
Oh, wow. Is he a good-looking guy? How's he getting on so many dates then?
No. And I think it just comes down to like the safety of dating apps as well. It's really, really scary. Like I went on a date with one guy and it just didn't work out. I was like, nah, like I felt an off vibe from when I had dated him. Maybe he was too pushy, I think was one of the things. And then he popped up on that on that Facebook page and it said, please stay away from this guy. He dated somebody and she ended up in hospital. Like he broke her back, like by, hitting her and stuff. Like, and has 3 kids with different women and la 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 la. And so, there's this. It's like I was saying. There's just so many different trying to date in this day and age. Like I was saying, like back when I was younger, dating was like, you know, beautiful things like phone calls, notes.
The thing is, you're watching too many music video clips from the early 2000s. Let's be realistic. It wasn't happening then. The same thing was happening just without social media. I was going to say, would you ever consider going back to Chile?
Chile?
Yeah.
I've been to Chile.
No. To find your partner.
To find my partner.
Yeah, so like we have this running joke. We go back home.
So I don't know if you realize I'm really tall. And most Chilean men would come up to my shoulder. Like I've never met a Chilean man.
Oh, you can't do.
Hello, if you're out there.
you wouldn't. You say hi, Cecily.
Bro, who was that soccer player with the mohawk? Chile.
Vidal.
Yeah, bro, that guy was tall.
Yeah.
No, he was. Was he?
Yeah, bro. Wasn't he tall?
I don't know,
man.
To be honest, Latino men, they're not very tall. And so, but funny enough, one of the first things my mum said as I started getting older was like, please don't date Chilean. I've never dated Chileans. Yeah, I've never dated them. And I wouldn't say height is the thing. I'm very much in a different mindset at the moment. I'm very attracted to good conversation. I feel like if you stimulate me mentally, it's more of an attraction. I feel like that's really rare today. You know, some people just talk rubbish and they don't talk of things of substance. So for me, it is that. But no, to go back to Chile, it's like asking somebody for a green card. They're just going to be coming here for...
Just to say yes.
Just
Good,
to say yes.
It's transactional. As long as it's transactional, as long as you get someone that looks after you.
But you know, I literally had this conversation yesterday with my
the guy's
sister.
gonna be working at like GYG, just doing soul stuff.
Yeah,
Who
literally.
cares?
In your lounge room.
If you're happy, you're happy. True.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like this time it's different. Trying to date as a single mom is different. There's so much that comes with it. There's, you know, not wanting to shake up the family household. And so, yeah, I've been on a date with two great men that have shown beautiful qualities. And to be honest, I got scared. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know. Like, I got home and I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Yeah. They're really wanting to integrate into my family. And yeah, and I thought, you know what? I've experienced so much change lately that I just can't do that right now. And so, but I think it takes a lot of power to know where you're at, you know, and say it. Like, I'm so sorry, I can't do this, you know, just being honest. Yeah. I feel like with the whole dating scenario, people just... You're not allowed to talk feelings. You're not allowed to, you know, show that you care anymore. And I think that's what makes it really hard. Like, feelings are supposed to be felt, you know.
How do you deal with cold feet?
With a dude? Like,
yeah, generally, like, would you, like, for example, you're getting to know someone, do you get a cold feet? Like, because you get those thoughts, you're like, okay, my kids, my family, can I bring this person? What would, like, for example, give you assurance that this person is the guy that you can...
Yeah, I think it's definitely a feeling thing. I think there's a lot of people that are very logical when it comes to dating. But for me, it's like a feeling, like... Because they could be... I've dated dads, like, say, you know, he's got 50-50 care of his kids, so boom, that shows me he's responsible. You know, he's used to kids, you know, he's used to having family. So conversation's good and things like that. But I think there's just this gut feeling that says, that's not the dude for you, you know, and I have to be like, okay, like, listen to that. I'll try again, maybe date the same person again and see. But there's just, you know, man, like, you know.
I don't get it. That's the thing. I'm a very objective thinker.
Sure.
So, like, let's just say in the scenario, everything's right. Everything falls in place. It logically makes sense. Where does that feeling come from? What's that gut feeling? I hear it all the time. People say, I just didn't feel, or this, that. Like, what is it? Is it like a...
I think when you experience it so much in your life, like, I dated the guy that ticked all my boxes and it didn't work out. You know what I mean? And then I've dated the guy that made me feel like, I'd say my second relationship, I did more with him in 1 year than I did in that 8 year of my first relationship, you know? So, and that was like, that was intense love. That was like, yeah, we love each other. We're going to, you know, travel and do all these things. And so experiences make you feel this type of way, alive. And I want to have that feeling again. But I feel like now in this time, yes, I have to be both. I have to be like, is he a good dad? Does he look like a provider? And you know what the biggest thing that I want now in my life is just somebody to support me. And not financially, just to be like, you know what, you look tired, let me make you a tea. Like, you know, just to be like aware of that, you know. And I think that comes with time. And I think you and I were talking about how you met your partner and how you become friends first. And I think that's really important, to be friends with someone and then be like, can I have something more with this person? Because you know what happens is we get into relationships because we find them attractive. And then my scenario now, I've broken up with the person that I had relationships with, but there's no friendship. Maybe if there was friendship first, I wouldn't have so many issues now, you know. But I'm not going to say that that's every co-parent, because I've seen co-parents that do amazing. I've seen dads that have rooms set up for their kids and go the 9 yards and pick them up from school, take them swimming and all. But then you've got dads that don't. So it's really tough.
Let's talk makeup. Because you've done it for 10 years. You said you've worked in makeup.
Yeah.
For 10 years.
So creatively, I would say I've been doing it for that long. I'd say 4 or 5 years. And then the rest is just in the creative industry. So doing photo shoots and things like that.
I'm a guy, I have no knowledge of makeup. I actually don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of guys don't, yeah?
Sure.
It's been a couple of years for him.
What, you don't wear it? You could be a bit of blush?
So you've been doing it for 10 years. What is it about makeup? Like, explain the phenomenon of makeup.
Yeah. Because I come from more of a creative side, for me it's, every face is different. The outlook of what you're able to achieve on different faces. Like, the aim for me is when I work on photo shoots, I'll have one model, I've got to give her 5 different looks. So sometimes it's about changing her hair, changing her eyes, and that's where makeup allows me to do that. It's like painting, you can paint 5 different pictures.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the fun of it. But I literally took up makeup because I was a stay-at-home mum and I was trying to make money on the weekend. So that's literally what I did, is just do like a side course. And then it became more of like, I liked colors, I liked glitter, I liked these foil colors. And so I can't use that on bridal. So that's how I got into more the photo shoot stuff, editorials. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And what keeps the passion? To do something for 10 years, you've got to have some sort of like deep passion. Passion for it.
I continue to learn. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like every time I'm on a new project, like this year I really got into music videos, and a lot of my close friends, like my godson's a singer. So a lot of the things is like, I got to tour as well with bands, but it's about really like the challenge, and I think every time I work with new people, I learn new things, and it's really enticing, like really exciting as well. I love like working with people and understanding what makes them tick, where their passion is makes me passionate, like that's, I want a piece of it, or I want to understand that. Like, I don't know, when I was working with like the band, how much training they do for it, or rehearsals, on learning their different instruments, on even vocal coaching and all this stuff. I didn't know any of that. And then you finally see them after like weeks of practicing, that they get to do that in front of an audience and have their songs out and stuff like that. That's beautiful, So for me, it's more of like an outlet. I love it because it allows me to, it doesn't tie in with my kids. It just ties in with me, solely me, and creating is an outlet. It's my air. And like I said, I've suppressed it for so long that now being able to work on different things, whether that's running events, whether that's podcasting, but I think this year I've really learnt more about using my creativity for a purpose. So it's more about helping people and bringing different creative people together. So that's why I run my events, which is like celebrating us. It's about celebrating us all individually, as great as we are, in different talents, but somehow coming under one roof and being able to collaborate, network, which I think is very like, it's not seen as much now, We all hide behind our phones, and so I really try and bring that atmosphere within my events. Yeah.
I'll go one more question, but then we're gonna do a trivia. Throughout the pod, you mentioned like you're always looking back. You always reflect. Yeah. What's your method of like reflection? Like, what do you do to reflect? For example, you said after you split up, you went to the beach and you sat doing your annual beach New Year celebrations. You're like, you're looking back in the year. What other like methods do you use for reflection? Because I think a lot of people try to reflect, but they don't really know how to reflect.
They try to find a method. They just don't know.
It's just hard. Yeah, like
I try, especially this year. And I think a lot of creatives, they suffer with it. Like they don't know when to let go. Sometimes I feel like we work, and I'm one of those people too, where like each month I try and have something coming out or something I'm working on, or I didn't even get to celebrate the thing that I've finished working on. I'm already on the next thing, you know. But what I try and do is I try and allow myself breaks in between where like, okay, you need to have this break or you're going to burn yourself out, Paula. Like if you don't take time out. But reflection is all the time. I would say reflection for me is all the time. Like what didn't I do good today that I can do better tomorrow, you know? Or when I go to the gym, I'm like, okay, an event of mine's coming up. How can I really try and push? And I reflect as I'm walking, you know, on the treadmill. But my biggest reflection, I would say, is every year when I go to the beach, I try and give myself the break where I start to say from November to December, even till January, I'm not doing any work. And that's me just reflecting and really trying to either manifest, pray for the things that I want for my next year, which is like, I want to be better at this, or what's calling my name, you know, what's really calling for me. And I think next year is a lot of like events that are to help people. So yeah, that's definitely, I'd say reflecting has to be every day, or how do we get better, you know? Yeah.
Time for trivia.
Go for it.
Time for trivia.
Hey, this is when Somali Steve can actually.
Somebody, can you say something?
He can
Deevs
contribute
and
to the
Deevs
episode.
are still alive.
I feel like
you
I've
guys
been
are gonna
talking the
say.
whole time. But you're going to tell us a story as well.
I'll tell it
what's the
after. I'll tell it
story?
after.
Okay.
After.
I'll tell it after. I'll tell it after.
All right, let's go with the trivia. Question 1.
Do we
Just go, man.
Nah,
Yeah.
just
No,
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 just say the answer. No, say the
Yeah,
answer
okay.
straight away.
Okay.
What is the only mammal capable of true sustained flight?
Say it again.
What is the only mammal capable of true sustained flight?
Sustained.
Yeah, it can actually fly, not glide, fly.
An eagle.
You say mammal?
Yeah, mammal.
mammal? I'd say like a possum, but that's gliding, isn't it?
We're talking about the fly.
Flying possum?
Nah,
Sure.
that's gliding. What are you doing? You searching?
I'm not in it, am I?
How did
You
you
were
hear
in it,
it?
man.
I'm in it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say duck.
Nah, that's a bird. All right, give one chance each.
Oh damn.
You want to make it fun? Come on, the Deevs and Devies are watching. Come on.
Hey, let me go again. Ostrich.
Nah. It's
Flight.
A mammal, yeah.
Flight.
I bet you it's so easy as well.
Let's go. Come on, come on.
I'm just gonna say something dumb. Let's see.
Done?
You say.
No, I did already. I did. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
You say another
Okay.
one. You say
I
another.
say
said
another
possum. Oh, fuck.
5
It's a
second timer.
mammal.
5 second timer.
5 second time here. 5,
Okay.
4,
I'm gonna say a
3,
fox.
2. Fox can fly, yeah? 2, 1.
Can it?
No, he can't. A bat.
Oh.
Which planet in our solar system has the shortest days rotating once every 10 hours?
Mercury.
Nah.
Neptune.
Nah.
I'd say Mars.
I think it's Jupiter.
Venus.
Somebody, Steve, or 1.
Oh.
Which country has the most pyramids in the world?
Egypt.
Sudan.
Mexico.
2.
And he said he was the champ last time.
What is the largest internal organ in the human body?
Skin.
Intestine.
Nah.
Skin.
Nah.
And a kidney.
You say organ or
Yeah, organ.
Heart.
Nah.
Oh, lungs.
Nah.
say the question again?
What is the largest internal organ in the human body?
Oh, stomach.
Nah. All right. 5,
Intestines?
4,
You said that
3.
twice.
That's
I
one?
said intestine.
Well,
2,
maybe.
What?
1. The liver. What animal is known for having the largest eyes of any creature in the planet Earth?
An owl.
Owl.
In the planet Earth.
Like in the planet Earth is such a
Guys, I made it
Alright, such a-
specifically that. Yeah.
a whale.
Nah. But close.
Oh.
Nah.
Dolphin.
Is it in the sea? It's in the sea. If it's
Dolphin.
close to
Yeah,
the well.
yeah, we'll go see.
Alright.
Yeah.
Dolphin.
Nah. Last chance.
Um,
Paul, you haven't even... Come on, Paula.
A hammerhead shark.
Huh? Hammerhead shark? Nah.
Oh,
Your face looks like I've won.
what do they call it? Orcas. Killer whale.
Nah. the giant squid.
Really?
I'm not gonna guess that. No way.
And which fruit was once known as a Persian apple, giving rise to its modern name?
Peach.
Hey, correct.
I feel like he gets more excited when we get it wrong. When you get it right, he's like, "Yeah, you got it right."
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, at least gas me out. That's
Fortunately.
not an easy answer, bro. I said flipping peach,
Yeah,
bro.
that was good. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Paula, thanks for jumping on.
No,
Any
thank
announcements you want to make, or you got anything?
No,
announce?
just follow each other, support each other, post, like, comment on each other's things, help the community out, and
We're
yeah.
gonna pull up to one of the wellness events.
Yeah, we'll pull up.
Well,
Nah,
look,
I'm pulling up to the next. I'm pulling up.
look,
to the next,
I've got some. I'll send you some reels tonight. I've got an event that's in mind for next year, and it would be dope to have you guys there. And like, yeah,
Damien, tell the
definitely.
story.
Hey.
Tell the story.
Guys, I got absolutely abused by a rainbow junkie
What?
at Bundoora Square. I'll tell you the story because it's actually
What's a rainbow junkie for people who don't know in the room?
a bit of a yes, with a syringe.
Okay.
And then, so basically what happened was, I'm with a coffee with a friend. We're talking about faith stuff. And so we're talking about the season he's been going through. And I was like to him, like, yo, bro, I think this season you're going through, I think God's laying a new foundation. This guy walks past. He hears our conversation. And he's like, what? You said I need foundation? And went off on me. Like, absolutely ballistic. Anyway, he's trying to stomp on, like, my friend's foot. But he kept twitching. He kept doing this. Anyway, he's zipping it up and down, and he starts abusing all the shops. There's this young girl working at this like Sri Lankan spice store, and he's like, "Open the door right now!" Banging on the window, like banging it. Anyway, bro, I'm like to my friend, I'm like, bro, I gotta step in, bro. I said, poor girl's about to cry, bro. So I go, hey man, you gotta move on. I said, this is all too much. I said, it's too much right now. He's like, what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? But like screaming, like roaring in my face. Anyway, the lady that he just screamed at was undercover cop. Well, not undercover. She was like an off-duty police officer. So I didn't realize, you know, when an off-duty cop calls, bro, they come. They're like 30 seconds. They were there. The police pulled up. The guy got arrested. End of story.
Oh, crazy.
They get released within a little bit
yeah,
after
100%,
that.
100%.
Like,
Bro, here's the ultimate card.
can I ask a question? Is that okay?
Yeah.
You were having this conversation with your mate about like what this year's been.
Yeah.
Spiritually, this
yeah.
year's been the year of the snake. A lot of shedding and stuff. Can I get your opinion on this type of year?
Like what it is? What
Yeah,
this year
like
is?
these people are going through a lot of hard stuff and changes and blah, blah.
I think hard stuff's inevitable, right? Like I think a lot of people say, like for example, we can go, man, this year's been hard, but imagine being in Nazi Germany. Or like, you know, imagine going through some like real significant times in life. I think right now we're in a shift of like people actually just coming out of that time, especially for Victorians. Like a lot of people are adjusting properly now socially. They're wanting to step out. They're wanting to make moves. And I think a lot of people, some people are actually just struggling to cope. So this guy I was catching up with, he was just like, to be honest, he's just going through a lot. His family, like parents getting divorced, you know, situations are happening. And a lot of people just don't know how to articulate it. Or like they go like, I feel like God's guiding me somewhere, but I don't know what that means. And I think just a lot of people just don't read their Bible enough. Like I just think that like literally, like I think people just need to open up scripture more. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, it does.
Nice. Besides that, enjoy your day, enjoy
Yay.
your night, stay humble,
Boo, boo, boo,
faith.
boo.